everybody. 365 Days of Horsemanship, day 442, I think. Yeah, really amazing day today. I just don't know, I've just been really blessed to come here with a great deal of kind of excitement and delight to kind of be here, and the difference it's made is really phenomenal. It's really fascinating, and I really want to hold on to that feeling for as many days as I can, and yeah, really just appreciate that as much as possible. So yeah, so I came up today. I really wanted to ride Mia, and I'm really pleased that I achieved that. It was definitely really interesting. I had a lovely session. She was quite challenging mentally. She was in quite a challenging mental place for mounting and girthing, which is interesting. Slightly unusual for her. It's interesting. I know that she did do Linda's course last weekend, Linda Prelly's course here, and I think one of the things that came up there was an element of shutdown for her around mounting, which I think I would definitely agree with. I think probably for the sake of functionality, definitely with mounting with Mia, there's a level of shutdown that kind of is tolerated, because otherwise we kind of would never get on, and it's a case of trying to chip away at it. And so it was interesting to see after the course actually how much tighter she was about the mounting. It's interesting. I wonder if it's part of a process or yeah, I didn't get to see the final day of Linda's, unfortunately, because I was just working and it was too much. So I need to catch up with Larissa about that, definitely, and kind of see what came up on the last day, and yeah, just get some more perspectives on it. But we got through it, which was really good, and I think it was kind of a case of, more than anything, just kind of reminding her it's okay, it's me, don't worry, it's all good. Was how it kind of felt to me. It was just, there was this sense of don't know. Hi buddy. Yeah, you are the cutest. Yeah. Yeah, just this kind of, I can see her now just looking up at me. Yeah, just this kind of don't know, sense of, distrust is the wrong word, but there was just this sense of kind of what's going to happen. And that could just be potentially because it's been a really different environment. There was a lot of horses and a lot of stress, and so that could be kind of just some of that work coming out. But we got through it really nicely, and just started working on a little pattern, kind of figure of 8 type pattern, with some poles set up around the arena, and worked on that in walk and trot. And it was really interesting because I had a window of being able to do the trot work with her on a long rein with some nice relaxation. That was really nice, because that doesn't really happen much. There's definitely usually quite a lot of micromanaging that happens to help her stay calm and not kind of speed up all the time, because if you let her, she'll just speed up into a bronc all day long. She's let's go, and then let's go faster, and then let's go faster. So yeah, so that was so there was this nice little window of it being very, very calm, and then I think there was almost a moment where I had gone too long and she started to get anxious, and then there started to be a lot more speeding up of the gait, and a lot more concern, and a lot more anxiety, and that kind of came on all at once. And so I experimented with a couple of things. The first thing I wanted to do was say, okay, if you want to go faster, let's go faster. Let's try it in canter. Didn't really go that well. Definitely, it was going okay to begin with, and then it just was getting faster and faster, and I just didn't have a reliable communication for a whoa. So went back to the trot, and it was a funny moment for me because I just felt like, I just can't, there's no benefit in me allowing her to be stressed. Like, actually at some point I've got to try to help her with this. And there's obviously, I think, two schools of thought. Like, the one school of thought is, if you do the preparation to such an extent that there's no underlying elements of concern there about, past experiences, past trauma, past patterns, past habits, whatever, theoretically, you should never end up in a place where you need to give them that level of physical help where you make it hard for them to run that fast. But with Mia, that's not the case. She's got a history, she's got a past, she's got her own beef, and so I think it was an interesting decision, a really unusual decision for me to make, to say, okay, what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to, when you get fast, I'm going to lift up my inside rein whilst holding my outside rein, just to kind of give you that, like, hey, slow down, steady. And then when I feel that steadiness, then I can come back. So it was almost like a dividing of the hands and then coming back again. And that worked really well. It was definitely more physical pressure than I would have imagined myself putting on her, but it worked so well that over time, obviously it became less and less. And it was really interesting because basically we got through it to the other side, to where she was asking for her head again, and then we were able to have almost like a quarter of the arena with her on a long rein, just trotting nicely. So I was like, yes, this is my window. Come back down to the walk before it gets fast again, and finish there. I did do a little bit of, literally just picked up the reins one time in the walk to get a little bit of contact. I just wanted her to engage one time, and then when she did, I was like, yeah, nice. Just to kind of facilitate the pattern, because if I'd had all day, I would have then probably gone on to do a little bit of contact work. So I just kind of want to put it in there that, like, there will be, a muscle warming up session, and then at the end there will be a little bit of contact work, and just to, put that pattern in there. But it was really interesting, actually, because it was really nice to put pressure on in that way to achieve a goal for her. Because for me, like, I don't know, I don't care, I'm not committed to us doing this pattern, which I think is maybe, sorry guys, which I think is maybe one of the reasons why I've always struggled to make goals and keep them, is because, like, I don't know, like, if something's hard for them, I'm just not really that committed to pushing through it for them, and for me. Like, this pattern is fun for me, but, like, there's a million other fun things we could do together. I think that's where I've always kind of shied away, because I think I've got to that point where it's gotten hard for them, and I've been like, oh, okay, it's hard for you, let's do something else that's easy for both of us. Whereas instead today, I think the mindset shift was kind of like, oh, this is really hard for you, bless you, let me help you with that. Because ultimately, like, bless her that, trotting around an arena, I think it's the turns that do her in. I mean, it's kind of everything, but I think it's the turns the worst. Like, having to turn a corner, me putting any, like, change in my body is just, like, really stressful for her. And that should be something that she can feel okay about, because that's something that's going to come up across the rest of her life. Like, she's going to encounter situations where she's going to need to do that. So I think having the mindset of feeling like, let's fix this for you, and feeling okay to put that boundary there, that physical boundary there for her benefit, was a really interesting new kind of frame of mind for me, because for me it's kind of like, it's unusual that I would feel comfortable to do that, but it worked really well, and I was really pleased with it. So yeah, that was really good. I was really pleased with the session. I felt like she was really curious and confident afterwards. You know, took her back to the field, and she was doing a lot of looking around and stuff like that, and so then I went up to see Lawrence. That was really nice too. Definitely a shorter session with him than I had kind of had in mind, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I definitely felt like there was a lot of flow. I just felt really happy to be in his presence. I felt really just like overjoyed to be there, and that was lovely. Anytime he got really like pushy about the scratching, I got down on my hands and knees and started playing that game, because he was kind of like, what? And then that kind of transformed him into being a little bit curious, and then he was trying to like rub his ear on me, and I was just kind of like doing this, but like playfully, like, oh yeah, you're itching, I'm itching, let's do itching. And he was like, oh, that's, yeah, okay, maybe not. But in like kind of, I don't know, it just felt like we weren't in a conflict about it, which was really nice. And then I took the time to make sure I was really like sort of stroking the areas that he would normally like to have itch, and actually I think he kind of quite enjoyed that, and that didn't really make him feel like more and more desperate for the scratches, which was really nice. Had a couple of lovely moments with being able to time touching different areas for yields, and having him looking up at different places, and I was just kind of happy like hanging around, like when he's grazing, I'm happy just like being on my hands and knees, like practicing how he's moving and how his like how he's taking the steps, because I feel like he moves in kind of quite not a dysfunctional way, but sometimes the way that his legs move, like which foot he chooses to put where, I find interesting, because I'm not sure it's actually the most comfortable position he could be choosing, but he must be doing it for some reason. So I kind of have been playing around yesterday and today with being on my hands and knees and just trying to like understand where his legs are going to, and like where his weight might be at like what point. And as well as that, it's been really nice for me, because I'm definitely like a huncher. I definitely hunch forward, and when I'm on my hands and knees, like I automatically like relax my shoulders back, because my weight is pushing into the floor, obviously. And so that's really nice. Like it feels really nice for me physically. So I'm quite motivated to continue to learn about that. So yeah, there's just a lot of like position changing, and I think just flowing, like, don't know, like I just feel like the last couple of days I've really let go of like the really militant aspect of like everything needing to be perfect. Like I need to be in exactly the perfect place all the time, and notice every focus change, and it's like, you know, it's like some chore where I have to be like, oh, and now I'm being supportive, and now I'm being passive, and now I'm making this reaction, and now I'm making that reaction, rather than kind of like being more fluid and just kind of like, oh, now I'm over here, and oh, that was interesting, now that happened, and oh, now we're looking over here, oh, actually this might be a good moment to just touch, oh yeah, now we've got another focus change, that's really nice. And then like, oh, I think I'll get moving again, just like not really worrying too much about like whether I'm late or early or what I'm doing. Like it's not like jump, you know, like it's just much more organic. So yeah, I mean, I feel really happy with it, all things considered. Yeah, I feel really happy with yesterday and today. Tomorrow, so I'm in between night shifts. I'm working the night tonight and I'm working the night tomorrow. So I need to, sadly, one of our oldies, I think is having his final day tomorrow, before the winter comes in. So I'm just thinking about like when I'm going to be around, and making sure I'm here at a convenient time for everybody. Hopefully I'll get some time to do some more work with both of them tomorrow. I'd love to ride again, but I don't want to ride if I'm in a rush, you know. So yeah, it's just going to be a case of seeing what time I have, really. But yeah, such a lovely day again. Really, really pleased to have had such a great session.